What up, YouTube? It's live late night talk radio with Deek Jackson on his 100 gigabyte mobile data challenge. Now, I am driving tonight and I've got about an hour until I reach home. So that's how long the show will be. The number, as usual, is 07903 953 759. Lines are open now. And if you don't want to hear me talk about my life story or sing a cappella, phone in and tell me what's on your mind. Let me just make sure my aux is on. Yeah, I'm all wired up and ready to go. Lines are open now. 07903 953 759 is the number to call. Also, you can Skype me on the same number and use Facebook Messenger on the same number. So wherever you are in the world, should you have something on your mind you would like to talk about, you can get in touch with me over the wonder that is the atomic-powered interweb. So, call now. Let us know what's on your mind. What's on my mind is the changing landscape of laws and compliance and obedience in Scotland, the wider United Kingdom and America, due to the scamdemic, the plandemic, the coronavirus. The coronavirus. Really? Are people really sucking this shit up? I can't believe it. There's other things going on in the world, and whatever's going on in your part of the world, feel free to give us a bell, phone in, Skype, Messenger, and talk about that. There's the American elections. There is the migrant crisis, or not. There's the Middle East, still. Man, all of the stuff that used to go on in the world before the coronavirus is still going on in the world. So, whatever you'd like to talk about, phone now. The number is in the title of the video. It's dark now, so I can't see the number. Also, I'm driving, so I cannot read your comments. I just cannot read any of the comments. I may read them when they come up on live chat later, when I review the video, but I simply cannot read them as I am driving, and anyway, I don't have my reading glasses on. So, alright, so if nobody calls in, I will be singing a cappella, recounting my life story, or playing some music from my phone. Let's see if I can do a little bit of that without crashing. So far, so good. How's my driving? I don't like that one. Let's not do that one. See if I can find a better one. Foldery, folderol. Just waiting for some music to download here. And when it does, I will play it to you. Okay, so since nobody's called in yet, allow me to recount some of my life story. I was born in Scotland in 1964. Those of you who play darts will immediately know that I am 56. That's right. What generation does that make me? A boomer. Apparently, a boomer is now an insult. Okay, boomer is now an insult leveled at people who aren't au fait with technology or glued to Instagram or something. It's something millennials have started to say. in response to being called millennials, snowflakes, and the like. So, you know, I don't mind, you know, that goes on. I have referred to some people as millennials because they were born at the millennium. I don't consider it to be an insult, and I don't consider having been part of a baby boom to be an insult. Actually, I'm on the cusp, a bit like, you know, your astrological sign. I am on the cusp, if you like, between baby boomer and Generation X, 1964, because apparently baby boomers are the people born, surely, at the end of the war. And man, 1964 is a long way from the end of the war. So I don't feel part of the baby boomer generation. I feel more of the Generation X. You know, man, I had video games for Christmas. Anybody out there remember Pong? I was the generation that got Pong. We were the first people to play video games on our televisions. Bing, bong, bing, bong. And then I had the Atari console. Yeah, man, that was an eye-opener. Awesome console, the Atari console. Now very retro chic and collectible. But that was my youth. Actually, looking back, we were the first generation, I believe, to have plastic shite for Christmas. And lots of it. When I was growing up, plastic shite was what you wanted for Christmas. Evel Knievel, Stretch Armstrong, shit like that. Now this tune should be playing. I don't know why it's not. Okay, the number is in the title of the video, so if anybody would like to phone in or Skype or Messenger, I cannot read your text messages at all. I might have to go to sort my music because I really can't drive without music. It's so next parking spot. I might be coming into Dune. Yeah, here we go. I'll get this sorted out in Dune. Thanks for your messages. I just can't read them. It's dark. I'm wearing sunglasses, and you know, the text is very small. Right, here's a bus, and got to have some music. I'm not sure what's happening. Let me just check. All right, got some music. Okay, now the number is in the title. Phone me, Skype me, Messenger me. Tell me what's on your mind. December 64, capricious man, you barely made it. Me too, me too. I barely made it also. So I don't feel so much as Generation X. In fact, I prefer Generation X. Makes me sound like I have superpowers. Or that I'm somehow mysterious. Unlike Baby Boomer, which sounds like, you know, something you do in your nappy. Really? Who'd want to be a Baby Boomer? Boom! So, yeah, born in 1964 one of my parents was in the Navy, and he was stationed at Rosyth Dockyard, which is how he came to meet my mother. He liked his music. He was a bit of a teddy boy, I suppose you could call him. And my mother liked her music as well. She was a ballroom dancing champion, in fact, and they met, and the rest is history, as they say. Although that's not to bring an end to the conversation, that's just to say that after they met, some history did ensue. To wit, I was born. Actually, my brother was born first. My big brother somehow a specific experience, the world around them that they're born into, and grows up not really thinking. Children don't really spend a lot of time in analysis, you know. For children, growing up's not therapy, you know. It's not. I don't remember thinking about things. I remember doing things and things happened, and you did things, and more things happened. That was life. It's only looking back, I think, that people get all navel-gazing and therapeutic about their past. I don't really do that shit. I'm more of a living in the moment kind of a guy. But since nobody phoned in, and you got to talk about something, otherwise we would just... So my brother was born first. Actually, shh, don't tell anyone, but I believe my brother was conceived out of wedlock, and he was born in 1963, which makes him a year older than me, obviously. And so, yeah, I was the next one along, and by that time they were married. They were actually married by the time my brother was born, although I believe the wedding photographs have to be taken at a certain angle. So I was born in Dunfermline in a maternity hospital, which had recently been constructed by the NHS. Socialised medicine, what a wonderful thing. And yeah, I was a big baby, apparently. 8 pounds something, big, bounce. From all accounts, quite happy and cheerful. I don't remember being born. Does anybody remember being born? Anyone at all remember being born? Nah, not really. So when you're celebrating your birth, all right. So it's quite, it's quite a strain, all of this talking drive. But the blue light is flashing. We are approaching the flashing blue light. Man, that would give you a fit, wouldn't it? On my camera, it's not so stunning, but honestly. Whoa! I believe it was an ambulance and not the police. 903, I can't remember the rest. It's in the title of the video. Phone, Skype, or Messenger. Or this video will simply be my high beam and me talking about the difference between baby boomers and Generation X. So, yeah, I don't know, what's the first thing I remember? I think one of the first things I remember is that we lived in a caravan. By the time I started remembering things, we had moved because of my dad's job in the Navy, traveled around from naval base to naval base, and we were living in Dibden Purlieu, which is a very nice place near the New Forest. And we lived in a caravan, on a caravan site, and I remember we had a dog, and I had a tricycle, and so did my brother's tricycle. Was bigger and faster, and he obviously was bigger than me also. He was bigger and faster too. And I remember the caravan site, the forest around it, a very nice place. And unbelievably, we were allowed to go out on the caravan site. I think I was about 3, so my brother would have been 4, and wander around. A couple of boys just out on the town, as it were. And we would go down to the pond at the back of the site and poke sticks at frogs and things. Hard to believe that people let their children do that, but that was the 70s for you, more or less, nearly. Obviously it was before mobile phones and television and the internet made parents fearful for the lives of their children. Bit of traffic up here. So, I am approaching civilization, and so I should get some street lights. 07903, the rest of the number is in the title of the video. Phone me, Skype me, messenger me. Tell me what's on your mind. This is Late Night Talk Radio with Deke Jackson and his 100 gigabyte data challenge. 07903 953 759. All right, now here we go. Civilization, streetlights. We're approaching Stirling, the historic town of. Yeah, man, my phone is on. I've got 4 bars. I'm totally connected. So I'm just going to turn the music up and wait for someone to call in. Phone me. The number's in the title. that was the Resonators jamming out some uptown skanking reggae there. A track possibly titled You'll Never Find Me Living in the Past, which is ironic because I have been recounting a little of my life story, just to have something to say, because nobody has phoned in. Lines are open now, numbers in the title, so you know, anybody out there who can see that number and is in the UK, give me a ring, let me know what's on your mind. I'm happy to be using my data showing you the motorway from Stirling to Dunfermline, because I'm on the 100 gigabyte data challenge. I plan to use all of my 100 gigabytes of data this month by streaming stuff straight to YouTube. Otherwise, what would be the point of having all of that data? So, phone, Skype or Messenger now. Or let's have a listen to another tune until somebody does. From the world, what can you do to make it come true? Can you do anything, do it at all? You bet your sweet life it'll do it to you. It will do it to you. Living is right here and now. You're living at all if you're hearing the sound. It is nice to see your comments coming up on my screen, because it's nice to know that I am not alone driving along in the dark in the middle of Scotland. But I can't read them. It would be dangerous and inappropriate. But thank you for them anyway. If you would like to phone in or Skype or messenger me, that would be great, because then we could talk. Lines are open now. Telephone numbers in the title of the video. I'm also on Messenger with the same telephone number and Skype with the same telephone number. Literally, I am available to the whole connected world. So, call in. Let us know what's on your mind. That was a number called I'm Having the Time of Your Life, dedicated to all the people who would like to live here and have the life I'm living, with the ice cream, the takeaways, the luxury goods, the central heating, the hot and cold running water. I'm arse deep in the 21st century's greatest technology and loving it. So let's try and do something interesting, creative and fun with it, shall we? Phone me, Skype me, messenger me. The number is 07903 953 759. And that number's good for Skype, messenger or the mobile telephone network. Okay, here's another number. Like the little man in the Wizard of Oz. I see your hand reaching for the gun. I know it's only just begun. I see you standing there, waving them up on an adventure. Hello, who's on the line?
This is Capricious from the United States.
From the United States. Fantastic. Good to hear from you. How you doing?
Oh, very, very good tonight. How are you doing?
I'm good. And what's on your mind? What are you thinking about tonight?
I don't know. I just wanted to call in, kind of connect with you, because I've been a fan for a very long time, since the W days.
Oh, well,
I think I was in the first 10,000 subscribers or something back in the day.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. I'm glad you found it entertaining. That's a long time to be watching me. You'll have seen my beard grow.
Yeah. Well, I really enjoyed your content over the years. It's been a long ride for you and all that. I mean, I can remember when things were going up, and then all of a sudden on January 1st, everything started going down.
Well, yeah, there was a Black Friday event when Google took over YouTube, and they just started taking certain people off the list of suggested content. But also, I did stop making videos. You know, I stopped making videos about 2012. It was the end of the world. It seemed a good time to stop.
Oh, yes. Yes, I remember very well.
And also, I mean, I don't know what it is or all of the things or anything that you think or believe, but I got a little bit, like I had a lot of issues with moon hoaxers and Planet X people and, you know, satanic believers. The world of alternative, the counterculture world is fractured and broken by crazy people, and we all get lumped in together. So if you don't believe the consensus, if you don't believe what is the mainstream narrative, then you are just lumped in with all the rest of the tinfoil hat wearing crazy people. And I'm not comfortable with that. I don't know what you think about that.
I'm sorry, sometimes you're breaking up when you come back to me.
Okay, so what's your situation in America at the moment? Are you somewhere dangerous, or you know, are there protests and discord where you are?
Well, they're not rioting in the streets yet. I'm in Lexington, Kentucky, where the Queen likes to visit sometimes.
Oh yeah.
So they keep they like to keep it neat and tidy around here. There's no mayhem, no dogs in the streets.
Okay.
It's a moderately safe state as far as the United States goes, as far as the COVID is concerned.
Do people in Kentucky take the coronavirus seriously, or are they rebellious?
I'd say about 1 in 10.
Well, one in ten take it seriously.
The groceries.
You're somewhat breaking up there as well. I don't know if we're still connected. Can you hear me? Well, we seem to have lost our caller there. I am still connected on YouTube, and let me just look at my phone. The call is still connected. I don't know if you can still hear me. I can't hear you at all.
Yeah.
Oh, you're back.
I'll give you a call another. Yeah.
You're back.
Yeah, perhaps I'll call you again soon.
Okay,
That's
well,
a good route this evening.
Try me on Messenger or Skype. Do you do those things?
I have them, but I don't have any audio connected through my computer. So, yeah.
Okay.
I'm stuck to using my phone.
Well, you're coming through loud and clear now. I am approaching civilization. I should say that Scotland is quite a wilderness in certain parts, and you know, they have a mobile phone mast for each town, but between towns there's no mobile phone mast, and therefore very poor coverage. But I am now approaching, if you like, some civilization, so perhaps we could continue.
Well, if it's coming in better, then I'll carry on. Kentucky is a lot like that too. It's very hilly, so you go up and down a hill and you lose it. You
Yeah,
might lose it for a while.
yeah. Well, Scotland's got some hills as well. What's your highest hill in Kentucky?
I'm not really sure. It's probably not all that high. Maybe 1,300 feet above sea level, something like that.
Ah, yeah. Well, that's quite a hill. In Scotland, I guess we're slightly more mountainous in the north of the country. We go up to 4,000 feet. That's our highest hill in Scotland. But you know, so yeah. Are you?
Well, and sitting the Appalachians, those are probably a little higher.
Yeah. Are you a fan of Donald Trump?
Only in the culture sense. As I find him despicable.
Right. So, how do you feel about the forthcoming election and the mail-in voting fraud, or, you know, lack or imagined risk of it?
Well, I'm hoping the mail-in voting goes well. There's no real sign that that's going to be. I'm depressed in either event of whoever's elected. Slightly less if Sleepy Joe gets in, I guess.
I'm with you. I can't see a good result. To me, it looks like, well, you know, what would you celebrate?
I guess I could celebrate Trump going away just so I don't have to see his face anymore on the news.
Yeah,
But not so much.
yeah, I can see that.
And listening to him talk is just murder.
Yeah, and what's your vision of the future then? Do you see things getting better or worse, or are you a catastrophist in any way, or are you? What do you think the future holds?
I don't know. Since way back in the news days, the world sucked. It's our fault, and let's see if we're thinking do anything.
Well,
I don't have much hope in that.
I'm with you. There's a lot of wishful thinking about, but there seems to be a lack of organised opposition to any of the things which I feel are bad that are happening. Globalist, consumer, Armageddon, the erosion of civil liberties, the emergence of technocratic, fascist dictatorships spreading around the world. And I don't see any coherent, organised opposition to that. People like me whinging on the internet isn't going to cut it, is it?
Right. And I would say even among the whingers on the internet, very few take a view that I could agree with, like your own.
Well,
a more rational approach.
we are a rare sort, I think, because from what I see of the world, you either, you know, there's a sort of duality. Like there is in America, you're either for the Republicans or for the Democrats, but there's not many people are, if you like, not many people think there's a pox on all your houses, that everything is bent and crooked, and that neither side of the alleged, because they keep framing an argument as if it is just a duality, like you only have two choices in any debate, and you're either this or that. Whereas I tend not to think like that. So there is definitely a lack of opposition that's coherent. Counterculture used to know what it wanted. I'm not necessarily saying I agree or you know, go along with all these things, but the 60s banned the bomb. You know, the Vietnam War protests. Even just anti-war protests. Lots of people knew what they were against, and they were prepared to fight for it and or against it. And I don't see that so much now. How do you feel about the Black Lives Matter, which is quite big in America?
Well, it's long past due in a sense, but I have to agree that after about 1980, there really has been no opposition, especially from a ground roots level. There's just nothing coherent.
I guess the problem with counterculture is to articulate an attractive alternative to consumerism and neoliberal economics and politics. You know, are you familiar with the Venus Project?
Oh yes.
All right. So I don't buy the Venus Project. You know, I'm not advocating that, but it seems to have a lot of fans because at least it does have a vision. You know, it's got a nice story.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not really an original story though. It was actually done much better in the basically from the 20s into the 30s here in the state. There was a group called Technocracy Incorporated.
Oh yeah.
They had a much more thorough plan. It was filled with engineers. They actually designed things, did things.
Yeah. Instead of
they had a similar idea, and it would have been much smoother, but they were suppressed.
Yeah, I mean, I liken it to all forms of kind of intellectual top-down fascism. You know, where somebody says, "I've got a good idea for everybody to live like this." I think we can take it all the way back to Plato's Republic. Plato wrote a book, and Plato just said, "I've got some great ideas. This is how people should live." And, you know, since then, lots of people have had lots of other ideas, and they keep trying to make everybody go along with them, or force them onto people, or persuade them, or coerce them, or bully them into accepting them. And I don't want any of that. I want everybody to live their own lives the way they would like to live their lives. I don't want there to be, you know, monoculture where we all live a particular way. And so I guess it would be difficult for me to sell my vision of the future as a kind of panacea or solution to anything, because my solution is live your own life.
Yeah. In a sense, that's really the only choice you have. It's just the environment of whether they allow you to do that or not.
Well, that's it. And I often cite America as having been, truly it was once upon a time, a place of freedom and liberty, because there was a frontier. You know, it may be a little bit, it may be gone now, but there was a time where you could set out into the wilds and stake a claim, or, you know, knock up a cabin and live your life, you and your family and whoever else you wanted to associate with. And I don't think there's anywhere on the planet like that now.
No, not much. Very, very little.
I mean, are you
pretty much, if it hasn't been taped off, you don't want it.
Yeah. So where would we have to go to get away? You know, are we now looking at needing another planet to live on to stake our claims to freedom?
That's not going to work out so well, I'm afraid.
No,
There doesn't seem to be anywhere to drive the wagon.
Yeah, I can't see it. I can't see it either. What's your background? Are you, you know, in life and employment and career-wise?
Well, I'm kind of a dropout in a sense. When I was 12, when I was 8, I figured out that I was an atheist. By the time I was 12, I had no trust in any government, and well, that made my continuing functioning in the economy problematic.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a scientist. I figured out that I would either work for the military and build terrible bombs and things, and or I'd work for a corporation and do other terrible things. So I chose basically none of those things, and just went on the road of infinite study, as it were.
Excellent. Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. I am traveling that road also. Being an atheist in America, my understanding is that can be quite hard.
It can. Kentucky is not probably the best state to grow up in to be an atheist. But America in general it's better. It's better than it was, for sure. But yeah, there's definitely dark corners. You don't want to, put that on your mailbox.
Yeah,
or your bumper.
Well, my sister-in-law lives in San Francisco, and when she was visiting once, she said to me, one of the questions that I get asked is, what church do you go to? Like not do you go to church, but what church do you go to? Which is kind of a loaded question, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So I wondered if that had been part of your experience as an atheist. Are you, in terms of employment or opportunities in life, have you been disadvantaged, or is it a little bit more tolerated these days?
Well, it's like I don't wear atheist T-shirts, and that discussion usually doesn't come up, and I don't start it, particularly in a job interview. So
yeah.
I think there's been a lot of places where if I had said, off the bat, I'm a godless atheist person, I don't think I would have, the interview probably would have ended very shortly.
Yeah. Well, I'm with you. I'm just remembering.
Even the corporate culture out here, the people that occupy it are kind of particular about that sort of thing, so they will immediately not like you.
Yeah.
And find reasons to dismiss you.
Yeah, see, that's a shame, isn't it? Because you would think that allegedly spiritual people who profess this great spiritual life that they're having, you would think they would be the people who were most accepting and most welcoming and most tolerant to everybody. And yet it often appears to me that it's the opposite, that religious or professed spiritual people are the most mean-spirited and unpleasant people once they get to know you.
Yeah, they definitely can be. That's very true. I can remember my experience in junior high school and high school when, I would someone would find out, or I would tell someone, and some of the reactions were, almost medieval. They throw up their hands in the form of a cross, practically.
Yeah. I'm reminded, a friend of mine, he once traveled many years ago in Yemen, and also Ethiopia. He was a big Frenchman, an ex-French paratrooper, so he was bold and big and confident, and he spoke several languages. But I was asking him, how did you get on? Because you're a Christian. He was a Christian. And he said, they don't mind that you also believe in a God, but there's no way of having a conversation in the Yemen or Ethiopia about whether God exists. It's just not you do not discuss whether God exists in the heartland of Ethiopia or the Yemen, because everybody believes that God does exist. They're quite happy if you're a Christian, because obviously you believe God exists as well, and they just smile kind of benignly at you as if you're slightly foolish for not believing exactly in the same God as them, or in the same form of the same God. But there's no way to discuss, if you like, from a rational point of view, whether or not there is a God, because that would be bad for your health.
Right, that conversation never gets started.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Right, well, I'm pulling into McDonald's now, which I believe is a different kind of McDonald's to the ones they have in America. A friend of mine from Montana tells me that the coffee in McDonald's in America is rubbish. Are you familiar with McDonald's in America?
I'm familiar with McDonald's and their coffee, and he is correct.
Really? Well, how How can it be rubbish? Don't they freshly grind it in front of your eyes?
I've never seen that. They tell me that on the commercials, but I've never seen that myself.
Right. So, McDonald's in this country, most of them, they will hand you your coffee from over the counter. Most of them, but there's a few, and there's at least a couple around here in Dunfermline where I live, where you actually get your coffee yourself from the machine. It's kind of a vending machine. They sell you the cup, you know, when you buy a coffee, they give you the cup, and then you go over to the machine, and the machine has a giant hopper on top full of coffee beans, and you put your cup in and you press whatever you want, cappuccino, latte, Americano. We call it an Americano, black coffee. And the machine whirs and it grinds fresh coffee right in front of you, and it squirts it into your cup and then adds water. And that's just about as fresh a cup of coffee as you can get. And it's the Wi-Fi's free. You know, I don't really do the food at McDonald's, but I do the coffee, and I do the Wi-Fi.
Yeah. I was going to say, I haven't been in a McDonald's for years.
Yeah. And I use their toilets as well. I quite often park because they have 24-hour free parking as well, right? Which means when I'm on the road, I can park in a McDonald's, wake up in the morning, use the restroom, get a coffee, free Wi-Fi. It's so convenient, I could almost forgive them for being a rapacious corporation.
Yeah. Yeah, I might have some use for them if their coffee's better, but that's not the only reason I would stop, unless I was, like, really hungry.
So if you're on the road in America, what's your choices? What's the spectrum of choice that you get for pulling over and stopping?
Oh my gosh. We have Denny's and a few smaller places. Waffle House. It's kind of grown over the last 10 years or so. There's a lot more of those around, it seems. They're not too bad. The coffee's not any good, but the food's not too bad.
Well, our motorway system is totally wrapped up with motorway service stations, they call them. They're not franchises, they're more like monopolies. I try and avoid them because they're painfully expensive. So I like the sort of to get off the motorway. But even when you get off the motorway, your choices are pretty much McDonald's, KFC, Starbucks, things like that. As I was saying in a video recently, it's just like it seems like it's just like America here, you know?
Oh yeah, it looks like America when I see you drive.
Yeah,
it reminds me of Kentucky.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, some of the brand names are different, but you know the way it's all laid out, it's much the same.
Yeah, that's one of the things I object to about, if you like, the New World Order, which I'm not entirely convinced is brand new. But one of the things I object to about globalism and the globalists is, man, they want everywhere to be the same, you know, and it's
right.
not. I don't believe it is actually free market economics. The people like, you know, giant corporations can kind of create monopolies just by wielding their capital in such a way that Africa will never make its own brand of training shoe. Africa will never make its own brand of takeaway restaurant. It will never make its... and so this kind of denies opportunity to people wherever they plant their big foot.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I've seen that here for a long time.
Have you...
It was something I noticed in the 80s when I did a lot more driving in the early 90s, that the outskirts of every town, no matter where you go, they look the same because they have the same sort of businesses lining the road, you know. The Super America gas station, the McDonald's, just off the highway. It's like every town, the edges of looks exactly the same.
Yeah, that's the same here. I could be parked right now. I'm parked in this big leisure park It's full of franchises. They're all the same. And if I went 100 miles, 200 miles down to England or somewhere else in Scotland, they're exactly the same businesses in a similar layout would be right here. Now, in some senses, that's kind of, familiar. And some people might find it comforting. I just find it oppressive and boring.
Yes, it is. If it was, if there was something really good about the places, it would be all right. But it's all shite.
I'm with you. It seems to be the lowest common denominator, doesn't it? Because they do want to make as much profit as possible, and that must mean,
right?
If there's as much profit
We'll
as possible,
sell whatever we can get away with.
yeah. How low can we go?
Yeah.
Have you traveled outside of America?
No, unfortunately, no. I have traveled very little. I once made a trip to San Francisco for a week, and that was very interesting. Did a good bit of driving on the highway out there, coastal highway.
Right.
That was nice.
Yeah. So were you born and bred in Kentucky?
Yes, I was born in Lexington and raised in Lexington, and they planted me in the suburbs, and my roots have not spread very far from there.
Well, it's nice to
I'm a good citizen.
Well, it's nice to come from somewhere and belong somewhere. My experience growing up was I had 9 different primary schools. I don't know if you call them grade schools, school for young children. 9 primary schools, and I had 5 different high schools.
Wow.
So I was always the new kid everywhere I went, and I never lived until I got married, settled down, and had children. I'd never lived anywhere longer than 3 years.
Wow.
And the house I
have lots of experience, which is actually kind of rare for the States too. It's like when I grew up, everybody that I knew pretty much came from somewhere else.
Yeah. Well, I always got the impression America was full of a kind of modern nomad. You get this idea that people were quite happy to move from state to state, to up sticks, as it were, and take a job in, far away from where they were born. It's quite a mobile place, isn't it?
Yeah, it largely was. I remember growing up, the world being that way. It seems like the moves get shorter and shorter for a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, I have arrived at McDonald's, and I'm going to have to go in and use their facilities because it's been a long drive. So
I understand, my friend.
I'd like to thank you for calling in because it was, I don't know if you tuned in from the beginning, but we waited a long time for you to call in.
Yeah, I tried to call you early, but I had to find a workaround to dial you from my track phone. I didn't want to dial straight to Scotland.
Yeah. Now, a guy phoned me yesterday, Clifford from Austria, and he told people on air that you could just put 44 before the number, but I think it's 044 or it's even 0044. I'm not sure because I've never tried to phone the United Kingdom from outside of the United Kingdom, so I don't know, but I will try. Now that I'm home, I have access to a desktop and I'll be able to create some preset information in these videos so that when I create one, there's information in the video, information below the video about how to call in, my Facebook Messenger, the Skype, and the foreign dialing or outside the UK dialing. So hopefully we'll get, things will be a lot easier. I've been enjoying this, I have to say. I like to talk with people. I like to find out things about the rest of the world straight from people who have those experiences. And so I've found this quite a lot of fun, and I think I'll be doing some more of it.
Oh, I look forward to it. I enjoy hearing your life story in bits.
Well, I may
carry on.
I may serialize that, but it will be edited highlights.
Right.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
it was really enjoyable. Your first call, I think you had from an old friend you hadn't seen in 20-something years.
oh
That was pretty
yeah,
interesting.
Jason. Yeah, we were at college together. That was mad.
Yeah,
It's good to hear
yeah.
from him. And so these unexpected things are part of the joy of doing this kind of thing. And I like doing new things. That's why I'm doing this. I thought I'd try something different. So I'm glad it's working out. I'm glad there's people on the internet enjoying it. And I'm glad that there's people like yourself calling in. What was your name again?
Capricious.
What was that? Preachers?
Oh, you can call me Tom.
Did you say peaches?
Capricious.
Oh, capricious.
Yes.
I think I've seen your handle on the internet.
You probably have. I've been following you around a long time.
Yeah, man. That definitely rings a bell. Well, Tom, or Capricious, good speaking to you. I'm heading in to use the facilities, and I'm going to end the stream here. So thanks for everybody who's tuned in. I will be doing some more late night chat, so I look forward to hearing from anybody who feels like phoning in to let us know what's on their mind. Tom, Capricious, thanks for phoning in. Everybody else on the internet, thanks for tuning in. Good night and stay lucky.
Thanks, Frank. Have a good one.
You too. Cheers, man. Okay, everybody, I am going into McDonald's. I've been driving a long time and I gotta use a toilet. Woo! Yeah, all right. See you on the flip side. Have fun. Cheers.